definitely not a master builder. That's not me. Maybe it could be me one day, but today's not the day. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am very excited for today's video because I am going to finally be doing a Q&A, and to make it extra fun, we're going to be building a Lego together. I bought this set a few months ago. I think I even featured it in my fall haul video, but this is the Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter set, and I'm so excited to build it. This set is 282 pieces, and it comes with Obi-Wan Kenobi, R4P17, and Tanwi. Maybe if it rains before I finish editing this video, I'll get a clip of me out in the rain doing the whole scene line for line. Before I get into any of the questions you guys sent in, I did want to just start with kind of like an update of kind of where I've been. You guys may have noticed I haven't been posting as much on social media, and that's kind of intentional. December is always the craziest month for me because of like our business and the holidays, and it's just the end of the year. It gets very chaotic. So like the second half of December up until now, I've been kind of trying to like take it easy, kind of regroup, see what I want to do for this next year. For those of you guys that know me, I'm kind of a workaholic. I'm either working or cleaning my house or working on a creative project or talking with friends or doing it all at once. And honestly, it's just not really sustainable. So I'm trying to take things a little slower, a little easier, and enjoy the moment that I am presently in. And that's also another reason why I wanted to build a Lego, because I feel like this is kind of a nerd's meditation, if you will. You can really just like lock in, not think about anything else, and just have fun with it. So let's start. So we've got 3 bags. 1, 2, 3. We've also got decals for a ship, and of course, manual. She's a little thick. There's 107 pages. So we'll see how long this takes me to build, but I am excited to get into this. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in questions. It really means a lot that you guys are interested in my life and want to know more about me. So enough yapping. Let's move on to bag 1. His little head. Everything's rolling. Okay, make sure we got everything. What other sci-fi franchises do you like? That is a great question because I have a lot of special interest, one of them being sci-fi and fantasy stories, whether that's books or movies or comics, whatever medium, doesn't really matter to me. I like them all. But my favorite franchises would probably have to be like the Godzilla franchise. I think that's one of the best stories ever told. And I love the sci-fi and fantasy and kind of like magic elements of it, as well as the destiny and everything. I'm a big like magic girly, so I love Star Wars, but my favorite part of Star Wars is the magic. Oh, Lamau was like trying to put his cape on, but it's hair or cape. So his hair looks amazing, by the way, like spot on, but I think I'm gonna put his cape on just because that's the scene, you know what I'm saying? Okay, now we just need to find his lightsaber. It's over here somewhere, yes. I also really like the Alien franchise. I'm not really a big horror girl, but there's just something about space that like will always get me. Like I just love any type of space exploration, any kind of like travel to new and exciting planets and star systems, and like I just think that's so cool. And as someone who loves sci-fi, I think Alien is like probably one of the most realistic depictions of something that could happen when we're exploring space that we know nothing about. So as much as it's like horrifying, I think like the science really backs it up, and I think it just makes it that much better. I also like Battlestar Galactica, like the early 2000s series. I've never watched the original. I should definitely get around to it. But I just love Starbuck and the way that Katie Sackhoff plays her. I mean, if you've seen it, you get it. I'm almost through watching that series. There's like a couple movies in between, so I was kind of like jumping around. What career interests would you have if content creation / social media wasn't your strength? This is a very interesting question because I was studying to be an English teacher, And all I can say is thank God I did not continue pursuing that, because I had an interest in that because I personally love reading and writing and learning. But the reality of being a teacher is more so that you are babysitting a lot of kids. And a lot of kids don't want to be there. A lot of kids don't want to pay attention. And I think it would actually drive me insane if I spent all this time creating like a lesson and I was excited to teach something and like 2 or 3 kids were listening. So I graduated high school in 2015 and then I went to community college, and my plan was to transfer after that to continue my studies. And I graduated high school in 2015, which means I would have gotten my degree in like 2019, 2020. And then I would have entered the workforce during COVID or right after COVID, which was all online learning. And I think that would have been a complete disaster. And I really feel for teachers dealing with post-COVID education. It's only gotten crazier. Also with like AI, that's just completely changed the way that students learn. So I think I kind of dodged a bullet with that. I'm not gonna lie. So I appreciate teachers. You don't get paid enough for what you do, and you really are the backbone of society. And it's kind of crazy to think about how different my life could have been if I continued on that path. And I'm very grateful to be doing what I do now, because I get to travel, I get to meet a lot of really cool people, I get to collaborate with people, and I get to do something that I'm extremely passionate about. So it's not lost on me that I'm very lucky, and I hope that I'm able to do this for many years to come. Would you ever do a fan film? I have been asked a couple times if I would do one, and it kind of just didn't work out. It would involve a lot of like traveling, which would not be covered. So I was like, as much as I would love to do that, it's just not possible. But I think it would be really fun to be a part of particularly a Star Wars fan film. I love that people have created their own stories set in the Star Wars universe. And I think it would be really cool to play an OC. Like, obviously, I want to play Padme. I don't know if anyone would ever cast me as Padme if I look enough like her. I love cosplaying her. But yeah, I think it would be really cool to do that. I am by no means an actor or anything, but if it was like a small role, I think I would be open to it. Are there any other Star Wars Legends book series that you're wanting to read? If you guys saw my previous video where I started my reading vlog, I'm actually insane, and I've decided I'm going to read all of the Star Wars Legends books, which is a lot of books, but I really, really, really want to get back into reading. Reading was like one of my favorite hobbies as a kid, and you know, with school, you have mandatory reading, and then you don't really have the time or the energy to read for fun anymore. But I really want to get back into it. I read a lot in like 2023, but I didn't get to read a lot last year, so I'm like, no, this year we're making it happen, and I'm kickstarting that with Legends series. Some series that I'm particularly looking forward to are the Darth Bane series. I've heard it's very dark, but just like an incredible Sith origin story. He is the Sith that created the Rule of Two, which is what ultimately lets the Sith, you know, really fulfill their plots, their plans to take over the galaxy. So I think that's amazing, and I'm really excited to read that. I also want to read the Young Jedi Knight series, which I know was written like for children or like young adults, but the stories are amazing and the characters are amazing, and it's like Luke and Leia's kids, you know? So I'm like, I want those stories because I feel like we didn't really get those in the sequels, which is what I think everyone was hoping for, which was kind of what I was excited about. But just with like the timing of everything, obviously the actors were much older, they had to do like a time jump, so like I get it, but I am still craving those stories, so I'm really excited to jump into those. And then lastly, I really want to read Splinters of the Mind's Eye, which I know is like one of the most controversial Star Wars books. This was technically the sequel to A New Hope before Empire was released, and before George had decided that Luke and Leia were twins, that they were brother and sister. So there is heavy Luke and Leia romance in this story. So obviously not canon. It's not even considered like Legends canon. That book was just kind of like I don't know, they low-key just acted like it didn't happen. But I just love thinking about like, okay, if I was watching the original trilogy when it came out, like I definitely would have shipped Luke and Leia because like Han is low-key, you know, he's kind of an asshole. I would have been like, no, like go for like the sweet, nice, like cute boy, you know? Like you don't always have to go for the bad boy. I wish I could have experienced that drama in the fandom like in real time. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading that book because I want the tea. I'm not gonna lie. I want the tea. We have a fashion related question, which I love. Staple pieces for your wardrobe. For me, my go-to pieces are definitely like an amazing pair of blue jeans that fit me just right, that I'm comfortable in, a platform sneakers. So I have platform Converse, Vans, I love wearing Doc Martens. I have platform Doc Martens. So like a comfortable black shoe for me, must have. I love graphic tees, obviously. I think we all know that. But I don't only love like Star Wars graphic tees, I also love like vintage Harley Davidson. I love collecting tees from like my different illustrator friends, like Boss Dog and Wizard of Barge. They make a lot of like whimsical kind of like D&D adventure 80s vibe kind of stuff. I love that. It's very like masculine, but I wear a lot of masculine clothes. I have a lot of masculine interest. So definitely like some good graphic tees that are like comfy, even if they're like worn in, that's even better. And the last thing I'll probably say would be like some simple but nice jewelry. I'm not a big jewelry girl, but I do like to mix a lot of metals. Like even my wedding ring is rose gold and silver. So I like to wear necklaces and simple earrings that are either rose gold or silver or both. And I think it adds just enough sparkle. So yeah, those are probably the items that I would recommend for my staple wardrobe. What is one cosplay that you want to bring back? Definitely my Force Ghost Anakin. That is like one of my favorite cosplays I've ever done. I'm really proud of how it turned out. The only thing is that it's like not very practical, just because I made it with like a sheer blue organza. And I completely covered my face because I wanted to give like the full effect and really look like a Force ghost. But it gives me crazy migraines because it really affects my vision. Like trying to look through this folded fabric is just not ideal. Like it's good for photo shoots, obviously, but I wore it to Emerald City Comic Con for the first time, and I was like, you know, running our booth, and I got sick. So that makes me really sad because I love how the cosplay looks, and that's one of my favorite moments in all of Star Wars, obviously, Anakin's redemption, but I think I'm gonna have to rework it. I think I'll just have to make like a piece that can be like removed. So do like a hood, but the hood can like come over and like maybe button. So that way I can also like kind of pull it back and wear it just kind of like a robe, you know, like his robe, and not have my face covered. Of course, I want to be as accurate as possible, but I'm not going to make myself physically ill just for accuracy. I really hope I can bring him back soon because I love that cosplay. Okay, I'm yapping a lot and I'm not building a lot, so I think we're just gonna build a little bit here. I'm not gonna lie, I underestimated how hard it would be for me to talk and build. I'm definitely not a master builder. That's not me. Maybe it could be me one day, but today's not the day. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous about doing these decals because I have very shaky hands. Start with decal number 5. I'll try to get it as straight as possible, but no promises. Okay, let's see. How much room do I have? Oh. Wait, I kind of killed that. It's not perfect, but it's a lot straighter than I thought it would be. So, yay! It's working! All right, now we're flipping and reversing. Now we're making big moves. How? I don't know. Oh, like, I think, yes. I hope so. I love Lego, honestly. Like, they're so much fun. And there's so many sets now. I really want to get into building the modular sets, which is like, do I need another hobby? No. Do I need another thing that I don't have room to display? No. But it would be fun and it would look amazing. So I don't know, but I think they're so cool. I especially really want like the little Parisian cafe set, and then there's like a boutique hotel, and there's like a bookstore, and there's a diner, and I'm like, I could just make it like so cute. Ideally, I would love to do that. I just don't know realistically where I'm gonna put these unless I like hang them from the ceiling. I also have like so many Star Wars sets that I have not built because I don't have the room for them. I have a curio cabinet full of sets that we've built, but there's only like 10 sets in it because, you know, Legos kind of take up a lot of room. We'll see. Maybe I'll decide to get rid of some other stuff in our collection just so we can build more Lego because I really want to. They're so much fun. Okay, we're doing the same thing on this side. It's kind of starting to look like a ship. Oh, I was like, did I miss a step? Okay, I need to put these first. Had a mini heart attack, so yeah, that's wrong. I put this piece on wrong. Let's see if I can get it off. Don't do that. My nails are too long. So I just need to move this piece back a tiny bit, and now this will fit correctly. I'm glad that was an easy fix and I didn't have to like take this whole thing apart. Crisis averted. So we've got the base of the ship built. It kind of just looks like an arrow. I think the engines are next because we've got a lot of round pieces that look like they just stack on top of each other. Will you come back to GalaxyCon in Ohio again? I would love to, but I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't very busy. We live in San Diego, so we've been traveling for more shows, which is really fun, but we really have to like be realistic with ourselves as much as we want to go and like see all of our friends and cosplay and you know, see the cities. We also have to make sure that it's worth our while and that we're, you know, making a profit. I don't know if we will return this year, hopefully again in the future, because we did have a lot of fun and we met a lot of really cool people, and a lot of people were excited because they're like, I'll never be able to travel out to California, so it's really nice that you guys came here. And we're like, of course, we'd love to meet you guys. Hopefully soon, but probably not this year. I love these pieces. I don't know, it like feels so satisfying when you put them on. They like click into place. Very nice. That's it for bag number 1. We have our base of the ship. I'm assuming he's gonna sit inside here. Yeah, that was really fun. That was pretty simple. I'm excited to get into more of the details. Let's get into bag number 2. I love that sound. Okay, now we are going to build Tanwi. She, I believe, is only 3 pieces, so this can be pretty simple. Wow. Ta-da! She's so cute. Okay, I'll put her over here with Kenobi. Oh. Advice for displaying Lego with limited space. I'm not sure if I am the best person to ask this because I also have that problem. But I will say I have been watching a lot of Lego videos and I've been getting a lot of inspiration from other creators. And what seems to be the consensus is the Billy bookcases from IKEA. They're just tall, kind of shallow bookcases, but what's nice about them is that you can customize where exactly you want each shelf. So if you have like a set that's shorter, you can make a short shelf. If you have a set that's very tall, like maybe a Hogwarts castle or something like that, you can make it a big shelf. So that's what I've seen from other people, and I wish I had the space for that because I would love to make a whole just Lego display. But what I currently have is kind of just the smaller version of that, which is a curio cabinet, and they sell them on like Amazon and stuff. It's a display case that's all glass, so all of the sides of it are glass and then all the shelves are glass. And that's nice because you can see your collection from every angle. The only thing I don't really like about the bookcases is sometimes it kind of cuts off a lot of what you can see. But I think if you're limited on space, I would definitely recommend a curio cabinet because I think it looks like very nice, and honestly it looks kind of elegant in my opinion, even though it's, you know, it's toys. I feel like that's just such a common struggle though for all Lego collectors, is like once you build them, where do you put them, right? And like, of course you don't want to take them apart and like shove them in a box, but each set you build has to go somewhere. This is not a tutorial, okay? I'll just tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. Who is your dream character to cosplay? The cosplay that I have always wanted to do, like ever since I first watched Star Wars, was Padme's picnic gown, which is not like an impossible cosplay to do. It's just, it's very expensive and I want to do it right and I want to make sure it lasts. But a more interesting answer, I guess, if I could give you guys one, would probably be something with like some really serious like body paint, face paint, even like prosthetics, I think would be so cool. Like maybe doing like a Mother Talzin or some type of like Dathomiri witch, I think would just be so, so fun. And it's also like, do I want to recreate a character that already exists or do I want to make my own? And I think particularly with the Night Sisters, that's one that's like really easy to make it your own. You can just pull elements from all sorts of different characters that we've seen in the Clone Wars. So I would love to do that, hopefully sooner than later. Maybe that will be kind of like my Halloween cosplay this year. Wow. What is the coolest experience you've gotten to have as a content creator? I still can't believe that this happened, but I was invited to the Lego Rebuild the Galaxy premiere in Hollywood at the El Capitan Theater. I still haven't processed it. I obviously love Star Wars, I love Lego, and as a fan, that's just something that like you always dream of, right? Going to a premiere. And I was so nervous. I went with my husband. Luckily, there were a lot of mutuals there, so it was really nice. I got to see some old friends as well as meet some new ones, like people that I've been friends with online. We've just never really crossed paths in person. That was just such a cool experience. I got like all dressed up and we made kind of like a little weekend trip out of it. We stayed up in Hollywood and I was like nervous, dude. Like I almost had a panic attack once we got inside the building. It's surreal having a dream come true. And I really did feel like a small fish in a big pond because most of what I do is like filmed at home or filmed at a convention. But to actually go somewhere where there is talent and there is cast and there is crew and like see some of these people that I've just looked up to my whole life standing like 10 feet away from me with their families, it was a crazy experience. So I got to walk a red carpet and have my photos taken, which was like just still doesn't feel real. And we got to see the talent come in and get their photos taken as well. They did like a few interviews. It was just surreal. Like that's the best way I can describe it. And we got to watch the series on the big screen, which was really cool because it went straight to Disney Plus. So of course it would have been nice to watch it at home, but just seeing it like the full shebang was so cool. It was just an experience that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And I'm just so grateful that that was something that I got to be a part of because it was really special. And also seeing like all the people that are involved in creating a project like that and getting to see them there with their family and their friends and just celebrating something they've worked so hard on was really inspiring. As a creative person, seeing somebody just like living their best life, creating and being acknowledged for it and celebrated for it is a beautiful thing. So that was definitely one of the most special moments I've had as a content creator. And I wouldn't have these opportunities if it weren't for people like you who watch my content and support what I do. So thank you so much for being here and for being a part of my journey. I am just again, so grateful that I get to do what I do, and I'm really looking forward to creating even more special memories with you guys. Are there any new crafts or skills you would like to learn or try out? Absolutely. That's kind of one of my, I don't want to say toxic traits because that sounds so dramatic, but I have a tendency to get really excited about a new hobby or a new interest and then kind of learn everything I can about it and then like not really follow through on it. That is probably my undiagnosed ADHD. Um, but for sure this year I have like made it a goal, like it's on my 2025 vision board to learn how to sew. I'm very lucky that my mother-in-law is an amazing seamstress and she has helped me for years to create my cosplays. But I really want to push myself to build an entire cosplay by myself. I just really want to push myself creatively in that way. And I also want to learn how to sew just for more practical applications, like if there's a hole in one of my shirts or if I want to tailor something to fit me better. Sewing is a really good skill to know, and it does take a lot of time and a lot of patience, but I think it will be worth it in the end. And kind of adjacent to that, I also want to learn how to work with leather. So making like leather belts or holsters, stuff for cosplaying. And another thing that has been on my list for a while is painting. I think that would be a really good hobby to have with like no pressure, you know, just put aside time to paint and just have nothing else going on. I just want to get back into my more creative side because I'm happiest when I am creating, and I just think that would be a really fun hobby to take up. What is your favorite Star Wars novel? My favorite book is Lost Stars. And I feel like this is just a book that like you just have to read to understand because not a lot of people talk about it, but the people that have read it are like, no, like that book is so good. I was sitting with it for like a year after I read it, like just still processing it, still like going through all the emotions. It is an incredible story. Let me take a break and just like yap about this book really quick. So the story takes place during the Rebellion era, and it follows two young adults who are trying to, you know, find their way in the galaxy. So they grow up on a planet, and it's a boy and a girl, and they're just best friends. They're always playing together, always hanging out, and both of them love flying. So we kind of have this like Luke Skywalker flying the speeder, but dreaming of like bigger things, right? Both of them want to join the Imperial Academy, go to school, become pilots, and they do. And once these kids join the military, they start to see that things are not what they seem, that the Empire maybe is abusing its power and doesn't want what's best for these small little planets, and they start to have to deal with the morality of their involvement in the war and, you know, being Imperial pilots, and they start to develop romantic feelings for each other, and then one of the kids wants to defect. So it's pretty much best friends to enemies, and it is so good. Like I feel like it has the perfect balance of like the military war aspects of Star Wars as well as the romance and, you know, the hope and the destiny. It's just so good. Like they're my Shaylas. You just have to read it. Like please, if you take anything away from this video, please read Lost Stars. Okay, that's enough yapping about that story. Let's get back to the build. Okay, I swear each decal gets smaller. This is also breaking my brain. When I was growing up, there were not so many unique pieces. You know, I'm glad they're starting to make stuff that makes it like even more accurate. Sometimes I'm just like scratching my head like, what is that? Like this page to this page, night and day. Putting pieces upside down, I'm not gonna lie, is a little confusing. This is cool though, because this is how the wings are gonna be able to move up and down. This is the best part. It's so satisfying. Look at her! Wow. Okay, it's time for our third and final bag. I've been looking forward to building the R4 this whole time. He's such a cutie. I love droids. Like, they're low-key the best part of Star Wars. Where's his little body? Oh, here it is. This little trash can body. He's so cute. I can't. Put him over here. Do you go to concerts and do you have any favorites? I used to be really into music and going to concerts when I was in like middle school and high school. And I was very lucky to grow up in San Diego where we had access to a lot of like local bands and even like bigger bands would come through because, you know, it's pretty populated city. So like 2009 to 2015, I was like really into the music scene, especially like the pop punk scene, like the Warped Tour scene, alt rock. So I'm really blessed to say that I have seen a lot of really awesome bands. But the ones that stand out to me the most would definitely be I saw the Black Keys, and they're like one of the best bands of all time. Definitely for their particular genre, but I think it's safe to say one of the best of all times. Blues rock is a lot of improv and just like feeling the music, and like every performance is different. And those two dudes know how to fucking rock, okay? Like they were put on this earth to create music and to perform. They were phenomenal live. Another thing I want to mention that was so cool about them was their stage. They had these floor to ceiling humongous TV panels that would move and like almost like dance behind them for the entire show. And a lot of their stuff can be kind of like not psychedelic, but it kind of, you know, just does its own thing. It kind of like grooves in and out, and just like hearing the music accompanied by like a cool funky slideshow visual was so fucking cool. Another band that I have to mention that I was lucky enough to see was the Foo Fighters. I'm not crazy about Dave Grohl anymore after, you know, stuff came out about his personal life, but you cannot deny that man's talent. And I have never seen someone give so much energy to a performance. He was electrifying, like he was in another dimension and we were just like witnessing it. And even though he was sitting down for 90% of the concert, it was like he wasn't. It was just, I don't know how to explain it. He was just incredible. And then the last one I'll mention wasn't like the most insane concert I've ever been to, but it was probably one of the most special. And that was seeing Bad Sons in, I believe it was 2015 at Coachella. And that was their first time they played at Coachella. They are one of my favorite bands of all time. Their first album was like the soundtrack of the summer that my husband and I fell in love when we were like teenagers. So it just really means a lot to me. But we got to go see them at Coachella. They were playing in like a fairly small tent. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything, but I was the only person there who knew all the lyrics to their songs. So that was really cool because I had only ever really seen bands once they were like mega famous, but this was a band that I kind of like got to grow up with and like follow their career, which was really cool. We were like front and center, and during their song Sleep Paralysis, he got like really into like the crowd, and he was like pretty much like leaning off the stage onto the crowd. During like the breakdown of the song, he like came over and like grabbed my hand, and I was like holding him up, of course, with like a bunch of other people. But it was just really cool because I was like, I fucking love this band. After that, obviously, other shows I saw them at, like people knew who they were, and people were, you know, a little more aggressive of like trying to get to the front and center. So like, I'm so glad that they've had the success that they've had. It was just really cool to experience that with a band, to kind of like see them start. And I still love their music. I still listen to their new stuff. It's great. If you like alt rock and kind of like beach rock, you should check out Bad Sons. Who is a Star Wars character you'd love to see more of? My obvious answer is going to be Padme Amidala. I will always want more Padme content. I would love, love, love to see a show kind of like Clone Wars style, so an animated series that follows Padme while she's queen, like with her handmaidens. because I loved the books by E.K. Johnston, but I just want more. I want to see it like animated. But outside of Padme, I would love to see more of the Night Sisters because I love witches, I love the occult, I love anything supernatural. And I think the Dathomiri witches are so fucking cool, and I don't think we've gotten enough of them. Obviously, we have Asajj, but when we see Asajj, we see her as a Jedi and as a Sith, and we don't really get to see her life before that. So I would love to see, like, straight up on Dathomir, Mother Talzin, Night Sisters, the Zabraks. Like, I want it all. Give me live action. I know I'll never get it, so like I'll take animated. Maybe in like Tales of the Jedi. I don't know. I want more witches. What do you think of the rumor of Lucasfilm bringing Mara Jade into the new canon? I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of tired of these rumors that don't have any validity to them just because I get my hopes up and then I'm disappointed. I've seen a couple people talk about this rumor, but I haven't seen any credited sources. So I'm kind of just like, you know, waiting to see if something more legit comes out of it. But of course, I am excited. I think Mara Jade is one of the coolest Star Wars characters of all time. And I'm honestly disappointed that they didn't include her in the sequels. Even just alluding to Luke marrying Mara and then Kylo killing Mara would have given Luke's character so much more justification for what he did in the sequels, because right now it just kind of feels like he crashed out and did the same thing his dad did, which was act on emotions because he thought someone in his family was going to die and then he ended up causing it. So I'm not really happy with the sequels for that reason, but that's just kind of where I'm at. I would love to see Mara included, but I'm gonna wait to get my hopes up until I see something a little more concrete. Have you, as a woman, ever been teased for being a Star Wars geek and loving cosplay? Yeah, all the time, my whole life, and that was the main reason why I never really shared what I was into with kids at my school or even with friends, because no one else liked what I liked growing up. No one liked the music I listened to. Nobody really liked the fashion or like the style I was into. I went to a private Catholic school, and listening to emo music and scene music was like pretty much considered worshiping Satan, which is honestly funny because a lot of the music is created by Catholic or Christian kids, and a lot of the music is inspired by their faith and by hope and by light versus dark and by good versus evil. Those are all things that I have always loved. I loved reading growing up. I loved Twilight. Immediately dogged on. I loved Star Wars, immediately dogged on. Like, all of my special interests growing up, I either didn't share or I shared it with like one specific friend, but like we only talked about it. Like, no one else knew about it. We kept it on the down low. And that is a huge reason why I am so grateful for the Star Wars community and the community that I've built online, because I didn't have that support or that freedom as a kid. Like, when these shows were coming out, when these movies were coming out, like, I didn't get to enjoy them with anyone else. I enjoyed them with myself, and that was fine, but it's not the same. So finding a space online where I could be myself and have fun and like celebrate the things that I like and not be afraid of getting bullied over it has been really nice. With all that being said though, the Star Wars fandom is not particularly known for being very welcoming or supportive of female fans, especially vocal female fans who talk about getting bullied. Don't let anybody determine what you can or can't enjoy, what you can or can't be a fan of, where you belong or don't belong. If you're a fan of something, nobody can tell you that you're not. So focus on the people in your life that support you and support your interests. There is way more positivity in my corner of the galaxy than there is negativity, but because I've made it that way. I know what it's like to feel like you have no friends, like you have no one to talk to about what you like, or that you're weird for liking what you like. Since the very beginning of me being online and sharing my love of Star Wars. My goal has always been to create a safe space for fellow fans to enjoy what they love and to find other people who like the same stuff that they do. So I am very grateful for the Star Wars community that I have gotten to know. Honestly, it doesn't matter what fandom you're a part of, there's always going to be those nasty, hateful people, but you just gotta let it roll off your back and keep moving and loving what you love. I know that feeling of like, oh, people are gonna think I'm weird or I'm too loud or I'm too whatever. It's like, life is too short to be worried about what other people are thinking of you. Just live your life, live authentically, and the right people will gravitate towards you, and you'll find your community, you'll find your people, and you'll find your joy. Next question, do you buy cosplays or make them? For me personally, I do a little bit of both. So for soft pieces, a lot of times I will make them with the help of my mother-in-law. But for most like props and accessories, jewelry, stuff like that, wigs, I'll buy them. There are so many skills needed to make a cosplay from scratch, like sewing, crafting, 3D printing, leatherwork, sanding, and it takes a lot of time. And honestly, I feel like if I made cosplays from scratch, I'd probably make like one every 3 or 4 years. And the last question I have is, aside from Star Wars, what else are you interested in? I have a lot of interest. A lot of them kind of overlap. Of course, I love all kinds of like movies and books and TV shows. One of my favorite genres is like the supernatural and occult stories. So I love Charmed, Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, X-Files, any kind of show like that. I love reading fantasy stories. I love anything with like fae, fairy, and folklore. I'm also really into fashion. I love like couture runway stuff. I also love street style and following creators who post like outfit of the days and stuff like that. That's where I spend a lot of my free time, honestly, is on YouTube watching other fashion and lifestyle girlies. I'm also really into like self-help and self-betterment and mindset and business. You know, being a content creator is essentially being a small business. I also help my husband run his art business. I like to stay in the know with like social media landscape, how it's changing. I'm always trying to learn and better myself and try new things, explore new things. I've always loved learning and reading, and that's kind of how it's followed me into my adulthood. Pretty much my whole life is Star Wars, but I do have a few other interests. Now let's finish up this Lego. We're gonna load the cannons. I cannot do this with nails. Oh my gosh. There we go. Oh, how cute. A little boy goes here. Okay, that's it. We did it. Let me add Obi to the cockpit. This was such a fun build. I love Obi-Wan Kenobi and I love the prequels. So I'm really excited to add this new set to my collection. I'm gonna have to add him to one of my displays. I'm not sure which one yet, but look at him! Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I love just sitting down and chatting and yapping about Star Wars. And I had a lot of fun answering your guys' questions. So thank you so much to everyone who sent one in. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. May the Force be with you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!